We are. That's the best surprise place. Oh, hello, everybody here at EWN. GP Walsh and I are here, Lisa Berry, Master Spiritual Teacher, GP Walsh. And I don't know who I'm going to be today. I'm going to be everybody today. We're just happy to be here. And a quick apology for messing our weeks up. But moving forward, if you are excited to be a part of our class, our show that we do this in this style, it's going to be every second Monday of the month. So today we get to say happy spring. Yeah. So you guys might be familiar with us as we show up once a month to do the meditation a day. And this is something that we wanted to offer a little different and invite you into doing. Maybe it's going to be some tapping, maybe it's going to be some self-inquiry, but we wanted to bring in some questions that maybe you've been struggling with or just wondering, and allow GP here to walk us through like, let's pick a technique and let's use it kind of day. And before that, GP, I wanted to ask this. This has happened twice to me now in class, and there's an invitation for everybody to join us in class every Wednesday. I'll do that at the end. I had another unexpected, who knew, I want to call it a healing. I don't even know if that's the right word, but I'm going to use that word for now. An unexpected healing during, well, it wasn't, it was actually satsang. It was class and satsang. And every time I come together in the community and we're all really focused and like I'm really present, something wonderful happens to me. And I'm curious about this. So it kind of does blow my mind. First time, guys, it was, I had a really bad kink in my neck. This time I had a toe injury that just came on, but then it went away. And I know we're not supposed to expect healings or expect this thing to happen, but why does that happen? It's so, and sometimes it doesn't. Again, maybe that's my question. Why does sometimes it happens and sometimes it doesn't? And
well, it always happens on some level. Whenever we're present, energy flows, right? And sometimes that's adequate. The flow is adequate to remove whatever happens to be in the way. Sometimes it isn't. But this is a very natural phenomenon. But we have to recognize that it is a byproduct of spiritual growth. It isn't the goal of it, right? I mean, such healings happen around Buddha all the time, all the saints and sages. It happens all the time. Right? But they never made it better. Other than Christ, nobody ever made a big deal out of it, right? It's just, yeah, this is part of the deal. This is part of what happens. And the teachers themselves certainly didn't. And Christ didn't. He said, please don't tell anybody that this happened. I mean, he said it over and over again. And of course, they listened to him really closely.
The lineup. Oh my gosh.
And then it became Miracle Man, right? And so from just being an awakened being, having a profound effect on people's life, having stuff to teach them about the nature of existence. Instead, he becomes the Miracle Man, and then eventually becomes divine. He's the Son of God, and he never died. And over 100 years, where the writings took place, that's what happened. But this is as natural as can be. We're just so used to thinking that the physical body is just the physical body, and that it's not actually a flow of energy. And that the relationship between mind and emotions and the environment we're in and the physical body it's not different. They're not different things. It's one thing. You cannot affect the body without affecting the mind. You can't affect the emotions without affecting the mind and the body. That's the way it works. So the most potent healing methodology there is presence. Simply present, open to the flow of energy that is your life, without trying to restrict it or redirect it or control it in any way. To truly be humble in front of the miracle of life, and just trust. Life knows what it's doing, and so if we can remove all of the artificial blocks and resistances and assumptions we have, right, energy begins to flow and healing takes place. and it is inevitable. But in our current state, it's very hard for us, especially in the West, to let go of the idea of attaching things to results. I want results. And so we do stuff to get results, right? And so no matter what we're doing, one eye's on the, am I there yet? Am I there yet? And if that is probably the biggest obstacle we face. You've always been there. You're there now.
I totally went into afterwards, and I didn't really think about, oh, check the toe. It wasn't like that. But then later I was like, hey, what happened to my sore toe? And then I thought, oh, I immediately turned very human and went, okay, how can I recreate that? What did I do different? It was like a football player. What did I do? Did I wear this shirt? Did I say hello to that person?
Yeah, it's absolutely the case. The superstition kicks in, and now we want to make all connected dots because we want to reproduce it. And the only reason we want to reproduce it is because our normal level of expectation is sickness and unhappiness. And so when we have that little spontaneous eruption of happiness and health, we go, where did that come from?
Let me get
it. Right? Why we want to control it?
Yes. Yeah.
You can't. You cannot control it. Go try to push the waves back out to sea. Yes. Have a nice day.
And the most challenging part is to think that if I don't recreate it, and if it doesn't, I don't get a healing next time, then I wasn't good enough.
Yeah. So our attention has to be so focused on the practice of becoming increasingly present that we don't even think about it. Yes. The results don't even enter into our mind because I've got enough right here and now. And every bit of energy, of mental energy and emotional energy that is looking to or invested in the future is not here. You're not present. It's which of course is, and presence is the thing that heals.
Yes. There's I can feel, no, I really can. Before I would have said, I got lost in the moment is how I maybe would have recognized being present. We actually might say, oh, I just got lost in the moment. I didn't even know what time it was. And now it's actually the reverse completely. It's, I knew every moment. I knew
it was here.
It was here.
I was actually here.
Right. And there's so much more to it because now, and I'm totally outing myself, everybody. I would always attend class, the looking class, but I would just step in and say hello to everybody and then just, put it on, do my business. I'm listening. I'm just, doing some other work in the background. And then that one time I really did have a kink in my neck. I thought I actually cannot do anything else. So I'm going to participate. And the feeling of being present there was, well, wow, it's kind of healing and magical in and of itself to be present. That is the flow, is it?
That's it. It's like, okay, yeah, well, now what? No, that's it. It's that simple. Mm-hmm.
Yes, and it's very. I could feel my mind like. There's so much freedom because it wasn't like, okay, what's next? Like we said, what's next? Or I should be there, or, oh, I got to remember this, or, oh, that was horrible what happened this morning. There was literally none of it. So you really owned all that presence, owned that space, owned that thing. And now I'm actually understanding even more, a little deeper. And I would love anybody's comments here. We've got a couple eyeballs watching us here. So if you are wanting to just share anything, ask anything, please. That's why we're here live. Put them in the comments, and I'm pretty sure I'll be able to see them. Somebody's going to be able to see them.
You'll be able to see them. We'll all be able to see them.
Yes. Wonderful. And so we've been really focusing on helping people to not just create a practice, but be able to know that their practice of being present is being fulfilled. And it's not like a goal, like, okay, I was present today. It's just more of, that felt good, or what is it we're kind of looking for? Like, why would we want to be present?
Because when you're present, you're happy. If you're not happy, it means you're not present. It's very simple. You can use the state of your emotions, the quantity of suffering or discontent, as the guide that says, oh, okay, I'm not being present right now. Because it doesn't take very long to get yourself into your body and notice your body's just fine. It doesn't have anxiety. It doesn't have worry. It doesn't have doubts. It's very clear. It's very quiet. I mean, think of all the stuff that's going on in your body right now. It's not making any noise whatsoever.
Right. Right. Yeah.
I mean, it's incredible the amount of stuff that's going on. Things are flowing around, and there's more bacteria in our bodies than there are cells. And it's like, give me a break. This is a zoo going on. It's absolutely silent.
Right. Now, what if somebody were to challenge that? I'm going to say this for someone else, and they say, "Well, right now I have a headache, or right now I broke my finger and it hurts," or what is
right? Yes, the body. Now, what's going to make a big deal out of that? Is the body going to make a big deal out of it? Is just feeling the pain? Or is the mind going, oh, God, I'm going to headache. This is terrible. What did I do? And on and on and on and on. Before you know it, you're off in this story. And which is more miserable, the story or the headache?
Yeah.
And, you know, that it's interesting because when you give yourself, we just, okay, there it is, and there's no story whatsoever, and you either keep doing what you have to do because you have to do it, or you just give it some presence. It goes pretty quickly. I've found that almost always, when you give a particular pain attention and get out of the story of it, it gets less. Sometimes it goes away, but sometimes it just gets less. Because the pain is being intensified. Remember, there's a connection between our thinking and our feelings about things and the actual experience. So the mind can actually make it more painful than it really is. So if we get the mind out of the equation, it'll just be what it is. And your body knows how to handle absolutely everything. If not, you wouldn't have gotten to the age you're at.
That's so interesting about that with the story. And I am going to ask this. I'm asking it now to get it answered later, is how can we divide? How can we separate that story? Because now that I really think about it, I do. Oh, you taught me well, actually, because when that did happen with the toe, I was a little shocked because it was a pain I was familiar with 10 years ago. And I thought, whoa. And I caught the story. Going, oh my gosh, you're going to have this again and blah, 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 blah. And I went, well, here you are. Look at you, you toe. Look at what you're doing. All right. And I was like, well, it does. There it is. It hurts. And you know, you're right. But within the 2 hours of your satsang, it was gone. Yeah. So how do we, I was able to, I think I've practiced enough now, you know, looking class and doing everything that I won't say trained, but that's not the right word. I was just, my practice came through and said, don't.
That's exactly the right word. You've retrained yourself to not go into the story, but stay present with what's actually happening. And the distortions and the blocks of the energy, you might say the rocks that get thrown in the water or the dam to the river, is the story we have about it. You take the story away and it just flows. And if there's a pain in the body knows what to do with it. It knows how to handle it. And including telling you, hey, take an aspirin, or you need to eat something, or you're dehydrated. It knows. And if you just shut up long enough, it's more than happy to tell you if it needs you to do something. But if it doesn't need it, it just does what it needs to do. You're kind of ancillary.
Yeah. That's true. And I like that, because if we are present enough to listen, if it's saying, go get a glass of water, dehydrated, go get a bandage, you're bleeding, go, I don't know, whatever, right? Then you can hear that. But otherwise, and if it gets to the point of that dam or the rocks are the story of trauma, stuck energy or stuck something, the story's just been with you for so long, then that means that we want to work with it, or we want to.
Yeah, sometimes you have to go much deeper, right? I mean, sometimes things are chronic. There's difficulty because we did have traumas that got energy stuck a long, long time ago. And so we do, there are times when you need to go deeper into it. The presence then goes into self-inquiry. This is also what we use tapping for, to help relax the whole system. So that remember, the story got created on top of the trauma. The story isn't the trauma. The story is just layers of compensation for what the trauma is restricting us from. right? The trauma is taking some energy that should be going into a particular channel, and it can't go into that channel, so it's stuck here, right? And then because it doesn't go into that channel, we have all sorts of behaviors and ideas and assumptions and stories to compensate for it, right? And so we think we know what's going on. The only way you're going to actually liberate the trauma is to get back out of the story directly into the energy itself, which can then, if it needs to, reveal to you what it actually is. And it has nothing to do with your story.
Right. Can we be unconscious to a story? Could we have had the trauma, got a story going, and then forgot the story, but it's still there? Can it still be running?
Well, it is unconscious, right? Because you're living it. It's unconscious because you don't challenge it. You don't say it is a story. You say, oh, this is me. This is my life. This is what I'm like. You never stop to go, wait a minute, is this me? Is this my life? Is this actually what I'm like? Or is this behaviors that I had to adapt to in order to survive? And it's not me at all. Just the willingness to ask that question is consciousness. That's awakening. Prior to that, you're asleep to it. You're simply acting it out. It is you, as far as you're concerned. And that determines all the characteristics of your life. And that will hold the traumatized energy in place. Because until that story is questioned, boy, the system is just rock solid.
Right. It's working well. It's as designed.
Working as designed. Yeah. Right. Not the way we want it to, right? Not for freedom. It's not working perfectly for freedom. It's working perfectly for safety.
For safety. If we ever, I'm just using my toe story here, everybody. So my mind is wants, next I'm overthinking this now, but if, could that toe thing of, so everybody, I'm just going to say it's Raynaud's, if everybody's like, it's, the capillaries is kind of narrow, and then the blood flow is stopped. Funny that we're talking about this. Oh my gosh, that's even crazier. But, so would I go into a question, is the story true that, I'm having my flow stopped, my energy flow stopped, and now my toe is trying to tell me, hey, this is a symptom sign that your flow isn't, like,
that would be true if the body tells you that. The problem is that our minds go in there. We come up with some theory and say, oh, this is what, and then we overlay on what's happening. The mind says, oh, my flow is being cut off, right? And so now we've got an entire, we'll have charts on the wall with diagrams and
where, when,
wearing different colored glasses and the like. I just throw all of that out. I used to do stuff like that. Right. Be more analytical about it. And then one day, it wasn't just over a period of time. It was like, G, you're really stupid. You really think you got this figured out? And then wham, and wham, and then wham. And you go, okay, hold on, what's going on? And you just kind of begin to dive into it. And you find this world that is completely intelligent, knows exactly what it's doing, and doesn't need my help.
Yeah, it didn't need my help. I didn't do anything to fix it.
No.
I got out of the way.
You got out of the way. You could have done a whole lot to mess it up.
Right.
But contribute only what it wants you to contribute. We have to see that as conscious entities, as conscious self-aware beings, we are aware of the flow, and at the same time, we're inhabiting it. The body is the flow of life. It's completely connected to absolutely everything. And it's through this vantage point that the consciousness, which is never born and will never die, experiences the flow. But in that in between of the pure flow of the world and animals and plants and everything else, and mycelium, which holds it all together, and the pure consciousness that is deathless, there's this place, the human mind, which can come up with all sorts of different things, create worlds upon worlds upon worlds. And when it gets distorted through ignorance, the world it creates is not very pleasant. It's out of balance. It fights with the flow. It fights with the Tao. Because that's what the Tao means. It's the flow. You know, the Tao Te Ching, translated from the Chinese, simply means the way it is.
Yeah, and you can break that apart too. The way it is, it is.
Which is what, you know, we bring it back around to where we started with just the presence. That's what presence is. I'm humbly and intentionally being with what is. And the practice is getting out of the habit of contradicting or resisting or fighting or judging what is.
Okay, that was beautiful how you brought that back there, back to presence. Is there? Could you? I think yes. This is what I like to do. Could you take us through a round of the language that we might say to help us get into our bodies and get us out of the way?
Well,
like you say, would you do?
Okay.
Like, would you?
Let's do it this way. Everybody, if you know where the points are, not just tap where we tap. It's so forgiving you. If you're in the neighborhood, it'll work. Right? And just consciously set the intention. Right? I'm choosing right now to have the intention to put less weight on my story, maybe even a lot of doubt about whether it's actually true, and to be present with my feelings. The feelings that are running through me all the time, both sensations and emotions. Feeling them without labeling them, without judging them, and the big one, without wanting them to be different. Of course, I want to be, if I'm in pain, I want to be out of pain, of course. That's perfectly natural, right? But this pain's here for a reason. Right? And I choose to honor that. I simply choose to be present, even though I don't really know what that is. But I'm willing to be here with my body, with this flow of life. And at least not fight it. At least not be in conflict with it. Open to the possibility, maybe it knows more than I do. Maybe. And I'm just choosing to be free. I'm choosing to regard my whole energy system through the eyes of just a loving awareness, a humble acceptance. And I'm also choosing to let go of any remaining attachment I have to wanting things to go the way I want them. I just choose to let go of that. Because I really want to be flowing with life as it is. Even though it's frightening. Because what if I get hurt? Well, I can't be hurt any more than I already have been. But I'm choosing consciously to just trust in the flow of life. And maybe even a little in myself. Take a deep breath. Notice it all starts with an intention, which is a deep desire for something higher. And if we keep coming back to that intention, all of the stuff that contradicts it, all of the distractions will eventually get quieter. Right? If we recognize that we are going to be distracted, things are going to come up, our old habits are going to resurface, and if we see them as nothing but a challenge to the intention, and just kind of renew your vows, right? In a relationship. Say, okay, yes, I still want to be here. And notice just the intention of doing it, you can feel the difference.
Yeah, and the tapping even too. It's so mesmerizing. I don't know what it is. It just really does settle. It has an intention of putting this focus on these spots.
Yeah, if physiologically it does release various kinds of chemicals and stuff in the system. It does create a calm, and it lowers the feeling of being in danger, which makes less resistance to what I'm saying.
Yes.
Because if I was just to talk about this kind of stuff, the mind will be going, oh, I don't know about that. Well, yeah, I go along with it. I agree. Yeah, no, right? But when you really get into your body, which is presence, the mind just kind of gets quieter, right? The stuff gets in without the, I'm not so sure about that, without the argumentative little brat.
Yes, it does. I like how the focus. This is a funny reminder. I used to walk my cats on leashes. Now they just run around. But when I walked them on leash, I was always like looking outward, like, oh, I better watch out for that over there and that over there and that over there. And then one day, after years of walking like this, I was like, why am I not just focused on the cat? Let's make sure the cat is safe. Not everything else around. It's like one point I can set my intention on. It was like so much more relaxed and easier.
Between the cat's eyes and the cat's ears, they know a whole lot more about what's going on out there than you do.
It's just my story. I was saying, I'm the protector.
I'm the one that's protecting them. Not really.
Cool.
They can see a tiny little thing move, 500 yards away.
Right, exactly. That is just so beautiful. I just, everybody here, we've got a couple viewers. There's no comments yet, so if you're here, please say hi. We'd love to hear from you. I don't know if I did something on this end, but this is just, tapping is one of the ways that we do this, but we do self-inquiry, and even you could hear from the language that GP was using right there. It's not the standard, EFT type verbiage. And we do this every Wednesday at the Looking class, and it usually runs about 2 hours. We're trying to keep it no longer than 2 hours. Sometimes a little sooner, a little shorter, but that is something that you can join with us every Wednesday of the month at 1 p.m. Eastern time. And you're gonna put a link. I can see you leaning in there. Yeah, there you go. And it's $97 US a month, and it just is a subscription, so it just keeps on going and going and going. And we are excited to invite the EWN people. And if we had enough interest from just your group, the EWN, we could also see if we could do one just twice a month and shrink the cost a little bit and just shrink the time a little bit. But we just want to make it available. That's why we want to come here and do this one complimentary at least once a month. But there's just so much. It's magical. I'm using that word. That's going to be my Lisa word. That is not a word GP would probably use, but I'm going to say it's magical when you are able to. I never thought I would develop a practice. Like, I was like, no, it's how I just live my life. And now I actually have a practice, and it makes a big difference in my life, and I like it. So thank you.
You're very welcome. Yes. Well, we need to practice. How did you learn how to talk? You practiced. How did you learn how to walk? You practiced. I mean, every skill is a matter of practicing. Even an advanced skill like any one of the arts or athletics, or you're a nutritionist. It's not in the head.
I forget a lot.
Seeing people, and there's subtleties and nuances that you only become sensitive to that through a constant exposure. And if we realize that all the stuck energy is simply the result of years of habit, of the same stuff happening over and over again, you're like, oh, okay, the habit's got to change. And what does that mean? I need to practice life according to the Tao rather than according to my habits. And yeah, there'll be some resistance to that. It's a habit, right? We don't want to change. We don't want to let go of that. I don't want to let go of that chocolate cake, right? But I want to lose weight. Well, kind of you can see incompatible, right? So how do you get to the point where the old habit isn't as strong, and that new energy of the higher ambition is free to fulfill itself? Well, practice.
Yes. And it's funny you mentioned chocolate cake, because that's we're like, I'm not going to let that go. I've got really good at that one of pleasure. I know exactly how to get there, how to get it, how to receive it, how to feel it, but it causes me pain. So there's that conflict that what you're hitting, like, ooh, I don't know the payoff yet for changing that habit. Like,
exactly. Well, there's two things. We don't know the payoff, the actual emotional payoff of changing the habit. Plus, we also are numbed to the pain of it.
Oh, right. We're not present.
We're not present. If you look at any kind of habit, eating any kind of habit, let's take an eating habit. Most people, when they eat, by the third bite, they're not tasting it anymore. They're just putting it's habit now. They're doing something else. In the practice of mindful eating, you slow down and you actually taste every single bite, right? After the third one, you'll find your mind wanting to wander, right? But if on that, and the fourth, and the fifth, and the 10th, all the way to if you just, I mean, it doesn't have to slow down to like a snail's pace, but it means is that you have to just actually concentrate on tasting it, because the flavors are still there. And you'll notice that actually the 10th bite can taste as good as the first, right? The other thing you'll begin to notice then is when the body is actually full, when it's satisfied, when it doesn't need any more. Whereas when we're gone, we always eat more than we actually need because we've lost touch with that too. So that this presence gets you into the body, and you begin to, and there are practices like mindful eating that you'll begin to feel the difference. I know it if I eat sugar, even if they say there's none in there. Yes, there is. I can feel it. Right? Yes. Because I've gotten used to the effects that has.
You have a good relationship with that, what that feels like.
Yeah, and it's not a pleasant feeling.
Yeah. Feels like inflammation.
So what you're doing is you're upping the reward and you're upping awareness of the pain. And it kind of requires both.
Yes.
To really break a habit, it requires pain.
Yes. Speaking of change, and hello, Sylvia. Thank you for saying hello. And she was tapping along with us. That's wonderful. You just mentioned the word change, changing the habit. And I am going to throw this one in there only because it's in 4 days. So this is a great place to just put that there. And me, 2, 3. Hello. Right. We have, if you are saying, hey, I want some change. I want to be more present. I want to have a practice. What's going on? We have a way to kickstart it because there's a 3-day retreat coming up literally this Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's only 90 minutes each day. Like I say, it's only, meaning it's not 3 days of your life. It's 90 minutes each day, which is plenty enough. This is mindful retreating, and it is, the fun thing is it's only 100 Canadian dollars for all 3 days, so you're like $25 a day basically, and it's with the Krishnamurti what's the word before center that I always forget? Education. All right. So Krishnamurti Education Center here in Canada, in the lovely BC, Victoria. And GP is going to be showing it virtually. He would love to have gone live, but it's going to save that for next year. So it's just you log on, you get to be with GP for 90 minutes every day for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and start that practice, or really dive in, go deeper, start being present, learn how it feels, what it feels like, and how to handle change. Because this is it's loving awareness that you're focused. Like, that is the most beautiful thing. We want to be present with loving awareness, not just present like, yeah, right. I'm present to that.
I'm present to the vice on my head. No, it's not like that. I want to be a loving presence. I mean, what else is worth doing but being a loving presence?
So if you're ready for joyfulness, just peace and presence, you can join us there as well. So we've got lots of stuff we're inviting you to. If it's overwhelming, just remember, come back here next month. EWN is so beautiful, and people are lovely, and we love to see it. So first and second Monday of the month, we come to EWN. Then if you'd like to join us for class every Wednesday, that was the looking class. And you can always comment here and say, what remind us? And then please, if you can, attend the retreat Friday, Saturday, Sunday, March 24th, 25th, 26th, online. And any questions at all, just put them right in the comments there. So thank you, GPs. The half hours fly by super fast. So thank you.
Yeah, it does. Not everybody.
Yes. Thank you, everybody.
Today.